Stop. All right, hello everybody. Welcome again to another live stream. As always, my name is Hamza, and as usual, I will be your host on another live stream. And today is Friday, so that means that we are going to have a grammar live stream. Last time, for those of you who were with us, we did a grammar test in which we tested ourselves and tested our grammar in different grammar lessons. So we are going to do part 2 today, in which we are going to continue testing ourselves in grammar, as well as reviewing some grammar lessons that we are going to see. So basically, the way that we will go, we will see the exercise, we will do it. If you guys need some review or need some reminder or some further explanation in the lesson in which the exercise is concerned, we can go ahead and review that lesson for you. For now, I think we are going to wait a little bit for more people to join before we can start our live stream. So test your grammar. This will be the title of today's live stream. This will be, as I said, part 2. We have had part 1 last week. You can go back and watch that, but after finishing this live stream with us. So I'm very, very excited for today's live stream because we are going to review some very interesting grammar lessons and some very important grammar points as well. But I will need more people to join before we can carry on properly. For those of you also who were with us during Tuesday's live stream, we talked about weather and seasons. You can still, I think, go and watch the live stream on our channel. But I want to still ask you how was this week, since this is the end of the week. I want to ask you about this week. How was it for you? How was the weather? And how was your week in general? You can share with us details in the chat of this live stream. Like I did with the viewers who were with us last time, it will be very, very useful if you can have a piece of paper, a pen, so that you can keep score of your points during this live stream. I think we will have something like 35 questions, so you can see how many points will you get out of 25. And of course, if you're watching this live stream, before we start, please make sure to like this video. And if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure to do so. And liking this video, actually, it does a lot of favors to this live stream because it really helps boost this live stream. It recommends it to other people, so it won't take much of your time. Make sure to scroll down and click the like button if you guys don't mind. And of course, if there are any problems with either the voice or the image of this live stream, make sure to notify me, please, in the chat. I will be more than happy to try and solve them. All right, I think we should start then, because I don't see much people join us for now. So probably we should go ahead and start the live stream directly. Let me just make my screen, my share screen, all right, bigger. Let me take this away. And let us start with exercise number 1. Exercise number 1 is something that we started last time, but we are going to do another exercise today just to review it further so that we can start where we stopped last time. This is the first exercise. The format of the exercises that we are going to see today is the same as we saw last time. So there is a sentence, and you need to finish the sentence with one of the options that are offered below the sentence. So that's basically how we are going to do that. And you can answer or you can participate by simply typing the number or the letter in front of the right choice. The first sentence goes as follows. She runs very. And the options that you have are quick, quickly, quicker, quickest. Snow White is here. Hello, Snow White first. And Snow White says she runs quickly. Can you give me a justification of why did you say that it's quickly and not quicker or quickest or quick even? If you remember, I think we did explain this point last time. So if you can remind us of why you choose quickly meaning number B. All right. So again, so we are having a grammar review today. And the first question that we have right now is this sentence, she runs very, and you guys need to tell me what is the right word that we can use to fill in the gap. So I see Sahanfield. Hello, Sahanfield first. What are you joining us from? You can tell me that in the chat. And Snow White is explaining to us why did she choose quickly. So she says that because it describes a verb. Great. Let's see. Ivy also shares the same view as Sahanfield and Snow White. So let's reveal the right answer. And you guys are absolutely correct. Like Snow White said, basically, adjectives, we use adjectives to describe nouns, all right? And we use adverbs. Adverbs, most of the time in English, they end in ly. That's how you can like find a. So they mostly describe the verb. So here in the sentence that we have in the first question, what are we describing? We are describing the way she runs. All right. So the way she runs is quick, but she runs quickly. So quickly here describes the way in which the verb run happens. That's why we use the adverb quickly. Let's move on to number 2. Nepal, all right. Welcome to the live stream. I think this is your first time being with us here. All right, this is number 2. This is a book. Interest, interested, interesting, or interest. So what do you guys think? And here, of course, I will still need to explain something very, very quickly as well. All right. So Snow White says it's C, meaning interesting. Same for Podell, says that it's interesting and interesting for Ivy as well. All right, let's reveal the right answer then. All right, absolutely. So you guys are absolutely correct. Here in this second question, I want to focus on 2 answers actually. All right, let me go back. So I want to focus basically on B and C, interested and interesting, okay? And I want to take you to my beautiful whiteboard, and I want to ask you, when do we use adjectives that end in ed, and when do we use adjectives that end in ing? For instance, interested. I think I should use my text tool, because like the writing tool is like just. I'm not sure why this whiteboard is very slow today. Interested, but I need to make it bigger. All right, that's too big. Okay, and then, oops again. Interesting. All right, so you can tell me what is the difference between these 2 forms that sometimes we can see with the same verb. Another example is bored versus boring. Okay. Um, for example, interesting versus interested. Do you guys know what is the difference between these two forms of the same adjective or of similar adjectives? They have the same source basically, which is interest. So interest, interested, and interesting. But do you know what is the difference in meaning between these two forms of these adjectives? Adjectives that end in ed, adjectives that end in ing. Say for frightening, for example, frightening, frightened. All right, let's see if anyone knows the answer in the chat. Share it with us. I'll give you around 30 seconds, 30 more seconds, because we need to move on. Nothing yet? All right, I think I should explain it for you. So basically, what happens is that we use ed, all right, when we are talking about the feeling, the way how I feel, right? So this is with feeling. All right. For example, if I say I'm interested in learning English, I'm interested. That's how I feel. I am interested. All right. I'm describing myself or I'm describing my own feeling. But if I say this is interesting, that means that that's the source of the feeling. Source of the feeling. All right. Let me give you another example. If I say I am bored or the students are bored, what does that mean? That means that they feel bored. That's a feeling. That's the way they feel. All right. They are experiencing the feeling of boredom. But if I say the teacher is boring, the teacher here is not feeling something, he is causing other people to feel bored. So he is boring. Or if I say the movie yesterday was very boring, the same thing. That means that the film was the source of the boredom that we feel. So I feel bored, but the source of something is including me. If I am the source of boredom, then I am boring. So the person who is writing the sentence in front of us means that the book is the source of interest for him or her. All right. I hope this is clear for you. So you can tell me if this is clear for you in the chat. So Snow White says, I'm not interested in this offer. Interested, a person who is curious about something. Exactly. So that's just another way to say we use ed with the source of the feeling. If I say I'm interested, that means I feel interested. That's a feeling I have. But if I say I am interesting, that means that I am a source of interest for other people. Okay? Or if I say this book is interesting, that book is a source of interest for other people. If you know any other adjectives that like have ed form and ing form, you can write them for me in the chat. Otherwise, we will go directly to the third sentence or the third exercise for today. By the way, each exercise consists of like 3 sentences. So each lesson, if we want to say, each lesson will have 3 exercises. Okay, and then we will move on to another lesson. So this will be the last exercise in word form. He spoke during the meeting. I think some of you will remember this from last week, okay? Because we had the similar exercise last week about the form of words that we should use. And for those of you, I see more people are joining, and today we are testing our grammar for the second time, all right? So we are testing our grammar. We are having a grammar test through some sentences, and after each sentence or after each lesson, we try to like remind ourselves of some important grammar lessons and important grammar rules, like the one that we have just seen. So let me go back to sentence number 3. He spoke, Snow White says he spoke calmly. Ivy says the same thing, calmly. And I agree with both of you because we have talked about this before. Here we are describing a verb. How did he speak? Speak is a verb. We are describing the verb. How does he speak? So we say he speaks calmly. All right. If we are describing a person, we should say this person is calm. So when we describe a person or an object, we use adjectives. And when we describe a verb, we use an adverb. Adverbs, most adverbs in English end in ly. Calmly, rapidly, furiously, no, not friendly, furiously, angrily, etc. So most adverbs in English end in ly. That's how we know them. Let's move on to lesson number 2 in today's exercise. And number 2, or exercise number 2, is about modal verbs. Exactly, hurriedly. Asdin, hey, it's been a while since we last saw you with us. I still remember you used to pass by our live stream, so welcome back again. You finish your homework before playing. I want to just very quickly explain what do we mean by a modal verb. So basically, modal verbs, if we have a sentence like, I think I'm going to type because he eats, or let's use I eat, all right? So if I say I can eat, or let's use play, play, I play, right? I play football, for example. I can play football. So this sentence, it has one meaning, is that I do an activity which is playing football. So let me is it clear for you? All right, it's clear now. I play football, right? If I add different modal verbs, the meaning changes automatically. So if I say I can play football, the meaning here is no longer that I do play football, but here it means that I have the ability to play football. I don't know what's going on. All right, I want it to be on one point. I can play football means I have the ability to play football. But if I say I can't, it means that I don't have the ability to play football. If I say I may, that means there is a possibility I play football. If I say I must, that means I'm obliged to play football. So if you understand here, basically modal verbs are a special type of verb that we add to the sentence, and it adds an extra meaning. This extra meaning, it can be ability, like can, I can eat, I can draw, I can paint, I can play, I can speak. It can be obligation, you must obey the law. You must remove your shoes. You must protect, for example, your family. It can be prohibition, meaning you can't do something. You must not you must not smoke in a hospital, right? You must not let's see, run a red light. All right, so basically they add an extra layer of meaning to the sentence. So you guys tell me that the sentence that we have, the first one, is basically should. All right, and I agree with you. So here, should, it's the kind of advice, right? I'm giving you a piece of advice. So I tell you, you should do your homework before playing. So I'm kind of giving you an advice. Or sometimes it can even be understood as an obligation. It's like a father speaking to his son. You could say, you should eat your vegetables before you can have some candy, for example. Let's move on to number 2. He be at home now. It's a little bit difficult, this one. It's a little bit difficult. So let me see if you guys can guess this one right. It's quite difficult, actually, this one, because I need to explain it later. Might. So for Snow White, might. And I agree with you, by the way. I agree with you. Might is the correct answer in this context. So it's like we are just guessing. Where can he be right now? He might be at home. I agree to some extent with this one. Ivy says the same thing. Must, will, can, might. By the way, can also here is the right, is a like correct answer. It can. So if I say he can be at home, it also means possibility. He can be at home right now. I'm not sure. He might be at home. I don't know. I'm not sure. He will be at home. It's a little bit not it doesn't sound right. He must. What about must? Well, believe it or not, it must actually for this sentence. All right? And I will tell you why. For must, it actually has two meanings. Must has two meanings. And let me explain them to you very quickly. Must has two meanings. The first meaning of must is obligation. You must obey the law. Obligation. My laptop is very slow today. Obligation. So that's the first use of the modal must. And I think I need to give you an example even. And the example is I or you must obey the law. That's an example of must given the meaning of obligation. Are you guys like, is this clear? All right, it's clear. It could be A, B, C in specific context. I agree with you, Ivy, actually. I agree with you. For the sentence that we had, it can be more than one answer. But the meaning that I wanted to use it in is certainty. And let me put this in red so that you can remember it. Certainty. I don't have red. I don't know why. Where is red? All right, here it is. I wanted red. Okay, certainty. Can we give an example of certainty using must? Of course I can, and I will. He is driving a Lamborghini, for example. He must be very rich. So here, must, it doesn't convey obligation. I'm not obliging this person to be rich. But since he is driving a Lamborghini, I understand. I'm certain that he is rich. So must, it conveys two meanings, basically. The first one is obligation. You must respect your parents. You must work hard. You must, for example, be quiet when you are in a hospital. But the second meaning is must convey uncertainty, like we have in the example that I provided. And also, like the example that we have here, sometimes you are certain that your friend is just at home. You know that there is no other place where he can be. Where is he right now? He doesn't like to be outside, so he must be at home. So I'm certain that he is at home. I hope this is clear. I hope this explanation is clear for must. Otherwise, like you guys suggested, here more than one answer can be accepted. Like will is not really clear, but can. He can be at home now. I'm not certain. Might is also probability. Let's move on to the third one. Number 3. I agree with you. I agree with you, Snow White. And Ivy as well. I totally agree with you. There are more than one acceptable answer for the previous one. And that's what I said. It depends just on what you are trying to say. Are you sure? You should use must. You must be very rich. You must be very smart because you are giving me these answers. All right. Snow White says may for this one. Can you tell me what is the function of may in this sentence? May. Because may normally it means probability. It may rain tomorrow. Is it probability here? Is it possibility? What do you think? Ivy also says it's May. What do you guys think? What does May suggest in this sentence? You must be very loaded. I agree. Though I don't know what loaded mean. What do you mean by loaded in this context? It must be very hot. Or I will give you another example actually for must convey uncertainty. He exactly is it, exactly very good. It's so may here. It means do you allow me? It's basically permission, and I agree with you, Ivy. So we can just say it's may, and it conveys permission here. Very good. So I will give you another example in which must conveys certainty. He has been working all day long. He must be very tired. So here, for example, I have this sentence, for example, he has been working all day. He must be very tired. So must here doesn't mean obligation. It means certainty. I'm certain that he is tired because he has been working all the day. To be loaded means rich. All right. I didn't know this, to be honest. I didn't know this meaning of the verb load. I know some other meanings, but not this one. And no, I'm not loaded, unfortunately. If that's the meaning, then no, I'm not loaded. All right, let's move on to the next lesson. Lesson number 3. Oopsie. All right, the first one is already there. So I will skip it and I will go to number 2. If I were you, I do that. If I were you, meaning like if I were in your place. If I do like this, yeah, they are still clear. All right, so I will keep it like this. I prefer this view. All right, so what do you guys think? The answer for this one is, for Hamid, it's C, meaning wouldn't. Same for Snow White, it's C as well. All right, C. And I agree, actually. It's basically C. So I wouldn't do that. And here it's conditional, all right? Conditional. So it's like I'm telling someone else, if I were you, I wouldn't do that, meaning it's like conditional. But I'm just imagining. Number 3, if he, the bus, he will be late. If he, the bus, misses, missed, missing, what do you think? And please don't forget to like this video. The views are really, really slow, not like compared to what we have usually. So I would love for you to kindly click the like button that you can see below the video if you are enjoying this live stream, of course. B, meaning misses, and I agree with you all, it's misses. All right, number 4. The cake by Mary, bakes, baked, is baked, or was baked. All right, thank you. Thank you for clicking the like button. I can see that the views like a little bit up. That's awesome. You can see how fast the the algorithm works. So for the newcomers, the new people who have just joined, today we are testing our grammar through a series of questions, and we are right now in question number 4. And in each question we have like 3 sentences. Was baked. I agree. Can someone tell me what do we call this lesson? What is the name of this lesson that we have in front of us right now? What do we call it? The cake was baked by Mary. What do we call this lesson? This grammar lesson, this grammar point, you call it whatever you like. What do we call it? I will wait until you tell me the name of this grammar lesson. No, not really. No. Not indirect speech, unfortunately. Very good, Rasta. Hey, where have you been? Yes, it's the passive voice. That's the passive voice, basically. I will explain the passive voice very, very quickly. I hope my pen will work this time. So basically, the passive voice is if you have a sentence, Mary. Unfortunately, it's not working very well. Mary baked I'm gonna just type. I'm gonna just type because like it's shorter right now. Mary baked a cake. So if you want to render this sentence into the passive voice, this sentence becomes, so the rule for the passive voice is quite simple. You start with the object, so the cake or a cake. We keep the verb in the past participle. We add by subject, meaning by Mary. And then, and this is the most important part of the passive voice, we add the verb to be. The verb to be in the tense that we had in the previous sentence. In the previous sentence, the verb is conjugated in the past simple. Past simple. So what do? We take or we add the verb to be conjugated in the past simple. That's how the passive verb or the passive voice works. Let me use blue. So was baked by Mary. So that's basically it. So you take the tense that you had here, you give it to the verb to be, and you add it before the verb. That's how it worked. Passive voice, passive voice. Great. I mean, it's totally fine. But by the way, we will have indirect speech in this live stream if we still have some time. So basically, this is how the passive voice works. Let me give you another example, and you guys put it in the passive voice. I will write a letter. Can you give me the sentence in the passive voice? I will write a letter. What will it be in the passive voice? I will write a letter. Using the rule that we have just seen. For the passive voice, as we said, we always start with the object. So I will help you. The passive voice form of this sentence should start with a letter. Okay. Hamid says, a letter will be written. The letter would be written. Ivy says, will be written. Will be written. So, your answers are correct. Just one. For Snow White, you have will, you should keep will. All right. So a letter. Same thing, by the way, for the articles. If you have the, keep the. If you have so we said for the verb, we put it in the past participle. The past participle of write is written, and then we add the subject with by me. Okay. So what do we still have? We still need to be. We still have to add the verb to be. The verb to be should be after will. It should be, right? We don't conjugate verbs after be. So just for you, Snow White, for the sentence, since we have will, we should keep will. We shouldn't add would. That's the only tiny mistake that we have so far. Oh, all right. I forgot that the second sentence was about letters as well. So the letters yesterday are sent, were sent, or is sent. For Resta as well. Okay, now I see some tiny mistakes actually. So it's not written, it's written, and it's not right, it's written. Were sent. Were sent. So Hamid, Snow White, both of you guys say it's were sent, and I agree. Last one. The project by next week will be finished, finishes, is finished, or finished. A letter will be written. Natalia, awesome job. Will be written by me. Very good. That's exactly it. So always remember to add. I just need to like change something. If you guys let me just like reopen my whiteboard because it's unusually slow. I don't know why. Will be finished. So most of you guys say will be finished, and you guys are absolutely correct. Number 5. But before, yeah, by the way, Hamid, this is the sentence that you talked about. But before we do that, I will just wait for my whiteboard to refresh so that I can re-explain the passive voice. So again, I will use another sentence this time. So let's see if my pen will work this time. Let me give you a sentence. The dog. My pen is still not working, unfortunately. My pen is still not working, so I will just use my type tool. The dogs chased the cats. So, can you put this in the passive voice for me? Natalia, very good job. IV, very good job for the previous exercise. Wonderful job. The dogs chased the cats. Can you guys put these sentences in the passive voice? The dogs chased the cats. And for people who have just joined, welcome first. If you are seeing this beautiful, handsome face for the first time, make sure to subscribe. And you will not regret it because every week we have 2 live streams in addition to all the stories that we post every week. Like every day, almost there is a story. Make sure to subscribe. Make sure to stay in this live stream till the end because today we are testing our grammar. Okay, we are testing our grammar and at the same time we are reviewing our grammar. So make sure to stick till the end. Let me see what you guys said. The cats were chased by the dogs. The cats were chased by the dog. The cats were chased by the dogs. Very good. Well done. As I said, so let me tell you how we approach the passive voice. So in this sentence we have, what do we have? We have a subject. We have a verb and we have an object. So the passive voice, basically, you start with the object. So you say the object here is the cats. All right. The second thing, and this is my advice to you, always take the verb, put it in the past participle. Past participle. The past participle of chased is chased. So that it's out of the way. And then we add by, and then the subject, which is the dogs. So far, we didn't change a lot of things in the sentence. I'm sorry for my very bad writing. My pen is acting up today. The last thing that we need to add, and which is very important in the passive voice, is the verb to be. But the verb to be, we don't add it like this in the infinitive. We don't say the cats be chased by the dogs, right? We never say this. So what do we need to do? We look at the verb in the original sentence. It's conjugated in the past simple. We take this past simple and we give it to the verb to be. The verb to be in the past becomes was or were. Was or were. So with the past with the cats, which is plural, we should say were, and that's what you guys were saying. Hey, I mean, how are you? Everything is good. Thank you for asking. What about you? How are you surviving with this heat? All right. I want to give you another sentence then. Since you guys are very smart and you got the first one correct, let me give you another sentence then. The cats or the dogs, let's keep the similar sentence. The dogs are chasing the cats. Now it's very difficult, all right, because we have a different tense. You can use the pen and a paper. I will wait for you. The cats are chasing the dogs this, or the dogs are chasing the cats this time. No. Amin says the cats are chased by the dogs. Not really, Amin, not really. You still need to change something, Amin, in the sentence. I always prefer this side of the screen. Can you guys see me? This one, as I said, is a little bit tricky. It's trickier than the previous one. The previous one was quite easy. Very good, very good, very good. Have been. Where did you see the verb have? We don't have the verb have, right? You can't add something that is not in the original sentence. Remember this. The cats are being chased by the dogs. Very good, Ivy. Amin are being chased. Very good, Amin. Perfect. Hamid, think again. Let's go step by step. Let's go step by step with the sentence. So I said the thing that we need to do is to identify the different parts of the sentence. We have a subject, we have a verb, we have an object. Always we start with the object. The object in this sentence is the cats. We leave some space. We go to the verb directly. The verb is chasing. We put the verb in the past participle. The past participle of the verb chase is chased. All right? Then we add by, then we add the subject. I think all of you understand what I'm doing so far, because so far we didn't do anything like that is out of the ordinary. This is very simple. We just like took things, we rearranged things. Now for the tricky parts where we add the verb to be. Now things will get a little bit spicy, all right? Because the verb to be, it refuses to stay in the infinitive. It tells you, I want the tense that the verb had in the first sentence. It tells you, I want this tense. What is this tense that we have in the first sentence? It's the present continuous. What is the rule of the present continuous? It's is, are, plus, okay, plus verb ing. All right. So we need to apply this rule to the verb to be. If we replace this with the verb to be, the sentence will become is, are, being. And that's the correct thing that we need to add. Okay? So here, let me add it in a different color so that it's clear for you. For the cats, it's plural, so we should add are being. And that's where your friends got their answers. So the dogs are chasing the cats will become, in the passive voice, the cats are being chased by the dogs. I hope this is clear. Even the verb are must turn to continuous. That's not the verb. The original verb, is chase. For the verb to be in the first sentence is what we call an auxiliary verb. It's just a helping verb. Is it clear, Okay, let's move on. I want to skip this one for now. I will come back to it later. Because I have this one which is like more important. The man lives next door is a doctor. These are pronouns or relative pronouns. More specifically, relative pronouns. Who? All right. What about which? Why didn't you guys use which? Why do you hate which? Who? What about whom? What about whose? All right, so Snow White says who, Amin says who, Ivy says who, Hamid says who. Let's see what the presentation also says who. Okay, all right. Let's look at the second one. The second one, the book I borrowed was very interesting. What is whom? Very good question. We will explain that in a moment. Which is for objects. Very good, Hamid. Absolutely. That's exactly it. For objects, I agree with you. And in this sentence, we have an object, which is the book. Ivy says which, Amin says which, Hamid says which, Snow White says which. Let's see what the PPT presentation says. It also says which. Cool. Last one. All right. Let's first explain what on earth is whom. What on earth is that? What is that? Whom? Is that even a word? All right. Let's see. Let's discover. Okay. I will give you two sentences and I want you to bring them together. The man killed his wife. I don't like this sentence, so I'm gonna. The man lives next to us. The man is a doctor. I think I'm gonna keep this the same one. All right. All right. Is it clear? No, it's not clear. I should blow it up a bit. The man lives next to us. The man is a doctor. All right. So the man lives next to us is a doctor. Well, that's a new job probably, doctored. All right. The man lives with us. All right, let me. The man, or I saw the man. All right. The man I saw, he's a doctor. All right. And lastly, the man's wife was killed. He is a doctor. Okay. The man's wife was killed. He's a doctor. Okay, so I have almost the same sentence here, and I want you to finish them. Give me a second, please. All right, now it's better. Great. All right, you guys are already answering. Are already answering the. Let me just explain what you need to do. You guys are very, very fast. All right, so here I want you to use either whom or who or whose. Okay, so whom, who, or whose. Let me explain this exercise first. Let me just make it like this. All right, this is very, very good. Okay, so in this exercise, I want you to finish the sentences with either whom, who, or whose. And here I will explain to you the difference between whom, who, and whose. And between parentheses, all of them are used with people. None of them is used with objects. All of them are used with people, but with different types, with different situations of people. The first sentence goes like this. The man lives next to us. The man is a doctor. So if we want to use a relative pronoun, how would this sentence be? The man lives next to us is a doctor. You guys are already sharing your answers, so let me check them very quickly. The man who lives next to us, the man who lives. So all of you says who for number one. I totally agree with you. I totally agree with you. So the first one should be who. I will try to write it clearly. Number two, I saw the man. The man is a doctor. The man I saw is a doctor. No, I mean, we can't use which for number two because this is a person, not an object. It's not an object. Snow White says whom for the second one. Ivy also says the man whom I saw is a doctor. Amin says whom. All right, let's check. Let me tell you how we should. Now, the man that we are describing in the first sentence, if you can see here, he's this, or here actually. Here, he's a subject. All right, he's a subject, and that's why we use who. So who we use it when the noun that we are describing is a subject. If you notice for the second one, the man here is an object. It's not a subject. And that's the difference between these two sentences. With object, we use whom, like some of you said in the comment. So the sentence should be, the man whom I saw. Because whom here, it describes a word that was an object in the previous sentence. So the difference between who and whom we use it with the subject and whom we use it with the object. I hope this is clear because this is a very confusing distinction that confuses a lot of people. Who and whom? When shall we use either? The last one, if you notice here, it is the subject, sure, but also it's a possessive. And that's when we use whose. Whose we use it with possessive. Like ownership, all right? This is his wife. So the last one should be the man who is the wife, meaning his wife, right? All right. So is it clear the difference between who, whom, and whose? I hope it is. You can let me know in the chat if it's clear for you guys, because I want to go back to the previous exercise that we were working on. Maybe if you guys want to take a screenshot, I can like hide myself and you can go ahead and take a screenshot, because these are the three cases for who, whom, and whom, three of which describe people. All right, so sure, if you can take a screenshot, if you want to take a screenshot, please go ahead. If you don't want me to ruin your screenshot, do it while I'm still off screen. Done. Great. Awesome. Ivy is clear. Sure, yeah, sure. Nice suggestion, Amin. Amin says, let us use them. Sure. I will give you a chance to use them in the chat. You can give me one sentence each. One with who, one with whom, one with whose. I will keep the rule on the screen. As I said, this is a very, very important rule. So you can try and formulate your own sentences using these three relative pronouns: who, whom, and whose. Well, I think you will need time for it. All right. Great. Oh, I mean, it's even giving you an exercise. The teacher who explains the lesson, whom I'm watching. Oh, wow. So it's the same. It's the same sentence. That's an amazing sentence, man. The teacher who explains the lesson is excellent. The teacher whom I'm watching is excellent. The teacher whose explanation is perfect. My mind is blown right now. My mind is absolutely blown right now. You managed to give us the three forms of who, whom, and whose in the same sentence. That's amazing. That's amazing. That's just brilliant. Wow. I'm speechless. All right. I really love it. The woman who walks down the streets is beautiful. Very good, because we are talking about a subject. The boy who is riding is my brother. Very good. What about whom? Because a lot of people find the problem with whom. Try to use whom as well. But very good sentences for Hamid, for Snow White, but more importantly for Amin. That you absolutely did a great job with that sentence. So great. I can keep your sentence on the screen, and probably people can Oh, wow. There is a second one coming. All right, I'm waiting. Great. The rule is on the screen. You can go ahead and take a screenshot for those of you who probably have just joined, but I will re-explain it very, very quickly. So we use who when the word we are describing is a subject. All right? It's the doer of the action, because it's the man who lives. He does the action of living. When he is an object, I saw the man, so here it's an object, we use whom. And if we have a possessive like this, we use whose. I can give you another one. The woman whose car was stolen is very sad. For example, the woman whose car was stolen is very sad. So here we are describing the woman. Whose mean that the woman owned the car. Its ownership, its possession is very sad. Hamid says, the guy whom I saw, very good, because it's Hamid who is the subject, so the guy is the object. That's why he used whom and not who. He's Chinese. I mean, the channel who is helping us learning, whom I just liked, great, whose employees gain my respect is magnificent. And the sentence also that you provided right now is more magnificent, actually. It's amazing. You always blow my mind with these sentences that you come up with. Very good job. The guy whose wife is working is my boss. Very good. So Hamid, I think so far you also gave us three cases of who, whom, and whose. Perfect. And let's go back to our series of exercises. Let's see this one. All right, let me just fix something very quickly, because I think I have a little mistake on my screen. All right, let's come back. All right. Probably you saw the answer. But if you saw the answer, act like you didn't. Whom? Really? So the girl bike was stolen is my sister. Which, who, whose, or whom? Remember, if it's a subject, it's who. If it's an object, it's whom. If it's possessive, it's whose. I sure did. Whom or whose? All right. The woman who is walking in the park. Sorry if the the live stream was down for a second. The woman who is walking in the park is very beautiful. The woman whom I saw in the park was very beautiful. The woman whose man I know is very beautiful. Ivy, you also did a great job with these sentences. And by the way, this is the trick to learning English. Don't hesitate to experiment with it. Like, make as many sentences as you can. All right. Don't hesitate to make sentences even if they contain mistakes. Even if they contain mistakes, what's the problem? Right? You can fix that mistake and then you actually learn something more. So don't hesitate to make the wildest sentences in English, right? Don't hesitate to do that. Let's see if you guys are correct. You are correct because as Amin is explaining in the chat, it's the case of possession. Number 6. Yeah, this is a very important lesson as well. Choose the correct form. I enjoy reading to reads books. What do you think? Which form of the verb shall we use? This is a case, by the way, where we use two verbs successively, like one verb following the other. Reading. So Snow White says reading, and Amin also says the same thing, reading. Enjoy plus gerund. Very good, Snow White. You know the rule. Amin says to read. I can accept that in some contexts, but mostly for enjoy, we use ing. Remember this rule. For verbs that show like or dislike. Like or dislike. For example, I love reading. I enjoy reading. I like reading. I hate reading. I adore reading. All of these verbs, they show either liking or disliking, and they are all followed by ing. So remember this. If you have a verb that expresses liking something or disliking something, most of the time it's followed by ing. Let's move to the second one. She decided to go to the party. Going to go, or goes. Which one is the correct answer here? Exactly. So enjoy, hate, like Snow White says here, like, love, all of these, they are followed by ing. To go. To go, Snow White as well. To go, Hamid as well. So you guys are all IB as well, and see your answer. So all of you agree on the same answer, and I agree with you too. So decide is one of the verbs that can be or should be followed by to. If you know any other verbs that should be followed by to plus verb, write it in the chat. And I will move to the last one. And there is a tiny mistake, so I need to correct it actually. I need to correct the mistake here. All right. Sometimes there is a tiny mistake happening on my slide share. Yeah, you can see it. Oh, you were watching me the whole time. Okay. Already, you already saw the last one. Okay, let me go back to the last one. Yes. So she was happy part in the game. Taking, to take, or takes. And I want to share with you a rule actually for this last one. To take. So Amin says it's to take. What do you guys think? To take. Snow White also joins Amin and says to take. Also, taken for me is good. No. Never ing. IV says taking. Let me give you a rule. What is the verb? What is the verb? Or what is the word that comes before the verb here? What is this? What is this? Is it a noun? Is it a verb? Is it an adjective? Is it an adverb? Is it a preposition? What is it? Happy. What is it? After adjective. It is an adjective. I agree with you, Amin. Happy is an adjective. Happy is an adjective. It's a feeling, but it's also an adjective. I agree, it's a feeling to be happy, but it's an adjective. So the rule says adjectives, if they are followed by a verb, they should be followed by to plus verb. And I will go here and I will give you some example. More example. To learn. I'm eager to learn. Or we are delighted to join. We are interested to hear, etc. So whenever you have an adjective and there is a verb that comes right after it, that verb should be in the form of to plus verb. All right. So eager is an adjective, it's followed by to plus verb. Delighted is an adjective, so it's followed by to join. Interested is another adjective, so it's followed also by to plus verb. All right, to take. And I think that's it for today because I wanna eager. So I mean, very good question. So what is eager? Eager meaning you have a lot of willingness to do something. I'm eager meaning I have a lot of willpower to do something. If I say I'm eager to learn English or I'm eager to learn, for example, math, that means that I have a lot of energy, I have a lot of willpower to do that thing that I'm talking about. So that's eager. It's also like enthusiastic. Very good, very good. Hamid explained it very simply. It's enthusiasm, basically. Enthusiasm. Very good. Sometimes like very simple words can very simply like run away from your head. So I will probably stay for another minute or two just to answer your questions if you have any questions. Let me check if we still have some. Oh, okay. All right. All right. We can do this exercise. We can do this exercise. We can do this exercise, actually. Oops. We can do this exercise. So in this exercise, it's simply you guys should provide me with the words needed. For example, once upon a time, in A, here you should add an adjective. Any adjective you like, especially one that will go with the context. So you can just write for me the number of the gap and then the word that you are suggesting. I will do number one as an example. Once upon a time, in a distant kingdom. For instance, in a distant kingdom. Distant is an adjective and it describes the kingdom very perfectly. There lived a what? Peaceful. Very good. In a peaceful kingdom. So I will let you have fun with this. I will try to stay silent, though I can't. There was a man. There was a man. There lived a man. Very good. or there lived a knight. That's even better. So once upon a time, in a peaceful kingdom, there lived a knight named, you guys give me the name, Richard. Okay. Once upon a time, in a peaceful kingdom, there lived a knight named Richard. Richard was known for verb ending in ing, meaning an adjective. Through the forests. Richard the Great. I will add them both. Richard the Great. So the knight was called Richard the Great. Once upon a time, in a distant kingdom, there lived a knight named Richard the Great. Richard the Great was known for what? Named for what? Anyone? I will add it probably. Wondering, for example. For bravery, maybe that's good. That's good. Though this is here is like a verb ing. I was meaning sorry, great, not the one, but they match. All right. Hating his enemies, like he was hating. He was known for hating his enemies through the. All right. So I think what I will do, I will post this short story as they post on our channel, and you guys can leave me your answers in the comments. I think so. This I don't want to like keep you for too long, so I think I'm gonna stop here. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's live stream. I hope you refreshed your minds about different lessons or different grammar lessons. I hope you have learned certain new rules, like the ones we explained about the difference between who, whom, and whose. Thank you so much for the participation. Thank you so much for the energy that you always give me. I will see you next Tuesday in a new vocabulary lesson. You can, of course, later on our channel suggest the topics that interest you. Thank you so much for watching. See you in the next live stream.